Okay, so today's field strip and clean is a old American Arms CX22. These were made back in the 90s. If it looks like a Walther PPK, I think that was intentional. They are basically a copy of the Walther PPK for the most part. They were made by a company in North Kansas City. It was called American Arms, and they actually made the frame of the gun. The gun itself, the slide was made in Germany, I believe by Irma, and this is a way of getting guns imported that didn't meet all the requirements of the Firearms Act. It is a decent little gun. There's not a whole lot of information out about these things. They didn't last very long. They were pretty much out of business in the latter 90s. Irma's no longer around. I believe Ivor Johnson was part of this deal as well, and that is no longer available. So there isn't a whole lot of information on these guns, but apparently there might be quite a few out there somewhere. So just gonna take a quick look at how you get this thing apart, and then get it back together when we're done. So first thing we do, as always, pull the magazine out. I will mention that this gun is probably, between $100 and $200 to buy one. An extra magazine will cost you at least $50. So it's one of those rare things where certain parts are just hard to find. So anyway, there's the magazine, and we'll go ahead and get this thing apart. We'll double check that nothing's in the chamber, nothing loaded. So we are ready to start. So like a Walther PPK, first step is to pull the trigger down, kind of slide it over to the side, get it stuck on the frame there to hold it open. Pull the slide straight back all the way to the end, lift it slightly, and it'll come off the frame. And that is really the spring slides on the barrel, and so there's no guide rod. There's a slide stop here for the last round, and it is pretty loose. They tend to just fall out, so if yours falls out, don't panic. It's not a big deal. It'll slide back. There's a tiny little spring here that holds it down. Parts for these guns are rather hard to find, so if you don't need to, I wouldn't go much past this. There really isn't a whole lot to the rest of the gun. The barrel is fixed into the frame. You have the hammer back here. Like I said, this little sliced up. Now, there's no slide release from the outside of the gun. You basically, when you put in a new, a full magazine, this little spring will push it down, and you rack the slide back, which is what you're supposed to do anyway, and it'll shut, and it will close just fine. So anyway, be very careful, especially with this little spring. If you lose that, it's going to be hard to find a new one. So all right, so I'm just going to get this thing cleaned up a little bit. Doesn't look too bad. A little grime on the inside of the slide. It's a simple blowback gun, so you do get a little more residue than normal, but nothing you can't deal with. And so it'll once you get them cleaned up, they work pretty decent. They are a little finicky on ammunition apparently, and so you've got to kind of figure out which is going to work best for you. But overall, they're just a decent little range gun. Not sure what else you would do with it, but it is rather unique, and not a whole lot of information. So, all right, so I will get this thing cleaned up a little bit, and then we'll get back. And the reassembly is even just about as easy as the disassembly was. Okay, we're ready, got it cleaned up. The toughest part is getting this little bolt face cleaned up along the rails there. It wasn't too bad. But you just, like I said, because it's a blowback gun, it will accumulate carbon and other grime. So you want to put a slight coat of lubrication on there. Again, be very limited on that because you don't want to attract more garbage than you need to. So the first thing we need to do is get this slide stop put back in, and goes in like that. Then take a small screwdriver, lift this leaf spring on top of it, and it will slide in, and now has a little spring pressure to bring it back down when it's ready. So next step, get the recoil spring on there, and then get the barrel lined up to go in. Go all the way back to those lugs. First you got to pull the trigger back down again, the trigger guard, I'm sorry. And now get it pulled all the way back until it hits those lugs, and it will slide back on. Put your trigger guard back in its place, and you can put your magazine back in. It should lock open when it's empty. So got everything put back together and working. So anyway, that's just the remarkably simple CX22. Like I said, fun little play around gun at the range, and they work pretty well. Like I said, they're a little finicky on ammunition, so you got to kind of play around and figure out which ammunition is going to work best in this gun, and you should have a reasonably reliable range gun. So that's the CX22. So until next time, stay safe and happy shooting. Talk to you soon.